you came to participate and see who the best candidate will be for May 14th election. My name is Dr. Alex Blanco. I was born in La Vega, a small town in the Dominican Republic. My mother, a single mom who came from a humble family, who didn't have much physical things to give us except much of the vital necessities. But let me just tell you that she was a great woman. She gave us the tools in life so we can become successful. She gave us love, she gave us care, but mainly she infiltrated in us that education is the best weapon for you to be successful and have a happy life. Let me just say that when I came to this country, nothing was further from the truth. The United States, the land of opportunities, where opportunities pop up every second, and I took them. I was the first in my family to graduate high school, college, and becoming a doctor. After I became a doctor and finished my medical education, I decided to open up an office here in the city of Passaic. But the decision didn't come easy. I remember discussing with my wife, Aurora, who's sitting here, that either we stay in the city of Passaic or we leave. I have 4 boys, Danny, Ethan, Alan, and Sebastian, whom we dedicate our lives for and want the best for. But it was a tough decision to make, and we stood here. Why? Because we love the diversity of a city. We love the diversity and the fact that we could be role models for those young individuals that were out there that needed a mirror that they can reflect and see success. So we decided to stay here. And furthermore, I decided to run for the Board of Education to make sure that not only our children have a good education, but all the children in the city of Passaic. I spent 5 years in the Board of Ed. I chair many committees of technology, athletics, curriculum education, and I became the president of the board. There, during my tenure, I noticed many things lacking, not only in the educational system, but also in the city as a whole. And that's why I decided to run for mayor. And today, I sit in front of you looking for another opportunity to continue what I started. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Blanco. Next, we're going to hear from Mr. Jose Sandville.
Good evening, everybody. Bienvenidos.
Good evening.
I want to thank the Democratic Cup and UPO, even though the UPO has a conflict because Mr. Martinez made a contribution to the mayor, but I'm willing to go forward with the debate. My mother was Puerto Rican. My father was Dominican. I was born in the Dominican Republic. After the bloody war in 1965, we were forced to come back to Puerto Rico. From Puerto Rico, I came to New York. From New York, I came to visit a friend of mine here in the city of Passaic. Never went back to the Big Apple. I stayed here. I used to live at 211 Monroe Street. The following Monday, that weekend, I got a job in one of the factories in 8th Street, making 75 cents an hour. A lot of money back then, $68, pay my rent, and I had money left over. I used to pay $5 a week. But you know, an opportunity came, and I got another job, and that was in the border, East Rutherford, Wellington. They're going to pay me $1. A quarter was a lot of money. So I went there, and I started going to Rutgers University at night, and I used to walk from Passaic to Wellington because I was saving some money, and that money went to buy my used book that I used to use. You know, my mother was a single mother, was 4 brothers, and it was not easy. But you know, one of the things that Passaic had back then was opportunity, something that we don't have now. You know, you could have walked safely. When I came here in the 70s, there were 4 movie theaters. We don't have a movie theater. And that's one of the things that we need to have. You know, I moved on, opportunity coming my way. I went to law school. I became a real estate developer. I develop some of the properties here in Passaic. I have other development in other states. I employ 13 people. And I pay a lot of taxes here. Last year I paid $55,000. And the only thing the great city of Passaic does to me right now is pick my trash twice a week. That's what I'm asking you in May 14 to give me the opportunity so I can serve you better. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sandville. Next, we're going to hear from Mr. Jeffrey Dye.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Dye, born and raised in the city of Passaic. I've been in this community all my life. I am a political community activist. I've been doing this ever since we boycotted the stores downtown in the city of Passaic. I've been very active in the city of Passaic. I don't have a long story except for the fact that what changed my life, in 1995, I went to the Million Man March. And going to the Million Man March, Minister Farrakhan said, go back to your community and start some type of social program. And I came back to this community in 1996 and I started a job training placement program under the auspices of the UPO with Ed Lyons until I was able to get my own 501c3, and then I started North Jersey Local Residents Workforce. This program was very, very successful, and it got to the point where after fighting in this community for years, Reverend McKinney from Calvary Baptist Church in Garfield called me up one day and said, Jesse Jackson is coming to the city. I'm sorry, Reverend Jesse Jackson is coming to the city. And he wanted me to meet him. After meeting Jesse Jackson, and we had a long conversation, and he told me that I should change, I should fight this community from within. And then I decided, he encouraged me to run for city council. I ran for city council 4 times, Board of Education once, now mayor. It was never my intentions to run for office. I just wanted to run a program to help people in the community. And in doing that, I was encouraged to do it from within, politically. I supported Sammy Rivera. I supported Alex Blanco. Both candidates was a mistake. And I don't say that to try to degrade either one of them. I really did think Blanco was going to be a good mayor. Nice guy. But you can't be nice when it comes to running this city in terms of letting somebody else control you.
Thank you, Mr. Dye. Mr. Dye, thank you.
I'm not finished.
Yes, you are. Thank you.
I got a certain minutes.
No, we cannot.
You didn't stop nobody else? You didn't stop nobody else? You didn't stop him? You didn't stop him? Do I got certain minutes? All I'm asking is, do I got a certain amount of minutes for the introduction?
You cannot attack people. We're not here for that. Thank you.
Do I have a certain amount of minutes for my introduction? Because you didn't stop him and you didn't stop him. I'm going to try to be respectful. Thank you very much.
Can we ask people to hold their applause down, and we will not take questions attacking other people. That's why I had to stop this. We're going to start now.
We got to be able to speak our mind. We should be able to speak our mind here. We
yes,
should be
but we
controlled by you.
cannot.
I'm not Blanco. Gary said don't control me. Period.
And excuse me.
Excuse me. Listen,
And if you're going to cut my mic off, then there's no need of me being up here.
Excuse me. Mr. Dye, excuse me.
I'm going to say it again.
Excuse
me. We should
me.
be able to say whatever we want to say.
Excuse me.
We are not here to attack people.
Listen.
Thank you.
Listen, excuse me, please. I didn't even know you were coming. You never answered me. Well, you never answered me. All right. You don't like someone, fine. This is a question and answer. Let's finish this now.
I was giving my introduction.
All right.
And I was cut off, and I think that was wrong, period.
Then I'm wrong, thank you. First question.
Please, let's try to get through this like adults, please. Because if it's going to keep up, excuse me, if it's going to keep up like this, I don't care if you're a spectator, and I don't care if you're a candidate. You will be asked to leave. Please. I don't want no applause. I'm not saying that. I am not biased against anybody. I just want a question and answer. I'll tell you something. This is my last as a candidate night as a president, because I'm stepping down. We have term limitation. If it wasn't, I assure you there would be none next year, because people do not respect anyone. You are supposed to be respectful. If you don't like someone, I don't go down there and start pointing my finger that I don't like someone.
We are not puppets.
Who said you were? You
Let's not debate.
Not puppets. I'm certainly not a puppet.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We're going to start. The first question will be for Mayor Blanco. Mayor, your views on marriage equality.
Well, I don't know what. I don't know.
I'm not here for that.
This. I don't know why this should be a question, because I believe in the eyes of God we are all the same. So I am very fond of equal marriage.
Mr. Sandville, what qualifications do you think you have that you feel you can run the city effectively?
Well, I ran a business for the past 25 years in the private sector, and I made a payroll every Friday, and I know government, and I know how to run a business.
That's what I was going to do. Please. Mr. Dye, I have a question for you. How can you help parents to help the children?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. How can you help parents to help the children?
I think the question should be answered by way of telling parents to participate more in their children's education.
Thank you. This is for all three candidates. Let's start with Mr. Dye. We just finished with him. Where do you stand on gun control?
I think there should be extraneous measures in terms of gun control, and I would have to explore the situation a little bit more to make a better answer.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sandville, same question.
I think the state of New Jersey has one of the toughest gun laws in the state of New Jersey. But one step we need to go further is the mental health issue that we have, so people that are not qualified to have handgun don't have it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sandville. Mayor?
Well, as part of the member of the Mayor Coalition for Gun Control, I'm a big advocate for gun control. As you remember, the last couple of days, we had the prosecutor in here, the AG as well, with a gun buyback program. Also, our police department, it's actively seeking all guns that are illegal in the city of Passaic, pulling them out of the streets. Every week we get minimum 10, 20 guns out of our streets.
Okay, thank you. Next question is for the mayor. Mayor Blanco, In what condition did you find the city when you first became mayor, and what condition do you feel it's in now?
Same. The same.
Excuse me, please. Let everyone speak, please. Thank you.
Well, let me just say that the city of Passaic was victim for the many years of lack of transparency. It was a victim of corruption,
Still is.
victim of lack of communication between offices, and also with a shot budget. Let me just say that people complain about superficial stuff, but if the city was in the way that it was 5 years ago, running in the same pace, we wouldn't have a city to live in, with taxes going up 8, 9, and 10% each year.
Please, let him finish speaking.
Right now, we have a stable budget, with the exception of 2010, which you will know what happened there. Governor Christie took over and took $3 million out of our budget. This year, taxes went up 1.7%. Last year, 2.5%. And as you can see, our taxes are being stabilizing. That means that more people want to move in the city of Passaic, and more people want to invest in the city of Passaic. And that's what I have now. I have investors knocking on my door, trying to buy property from our city and make it a better city.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me? Excuse me, miss, excuse me, please. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sandville, this question is for you. I heard you are planning to remove parking meters. How do you plan on bringing that money to the city? With taxes?
Well, one of the things is anytime anybody from out of town comes to the city of Passaic gets a parking ticket, they don't come back to shop here. So I look at some of the cities around the city of Passaic, they don't have parking meters because that's another tax. So if we do economic development and we bring that thing and bring more businesses here and open the door for business, then we'll be able to make all the $1 million that we get from that without, because, it's a portion of the city that get only parking meters. In 20 minutes, you cannot go shopping or do your hair, get a haircut, or go for a meal. That's not enough time. I spoke to one of the mayors around the city, from another city, and what they do is they have the officer walking around, they use a piece of chalk, they mark your car, and you got 2 hours free parking, because you don't want somebody parking in the same place for 2 hours, because we're in the same place. So after 2 hours, if you're still there, you're going to get a ticket. Well, at least you have 2 hours to go shopping, get a haircut, whatever the case may be. So that's how we're going to make up the money for the parking meters. Thank you.
Okay, please calm down so we can ask another question. Please, thank you. Mr. Dye, how are you going to bring any revenue to the city?
I think for 4.5 years, Alex Blanco has been the mayor here, and 663 is still abandoned. I think you have to bring in companies into this community that's going to number one, hire from our community. That is not my number one pet peeve, that the last mayors allow companies to come in here, whatever companies, and it hasn't been a lot. And they have not required or put some type of language in the contract that they hire our local residents. Thank you.
Thank you. This question is for all the candidates. We'll start with Mayor Blanco. What is your vision for the future of Passaic if elected or re-elected, and how do you plan to do it?
But at this moment, what the city needs desperate is redevelopment. We already started this. It took me about 2 years to change the image of the city. A city that nobody wants to invest. County didn't want to even look at. The state didn't want to look at. Investors, forget about it. I used to call them to my office, show them the city, and they came back with the same answer. What has changed in the past 4 years when I came to this city and all the doors were locked? So let me just say that most of our lots that we have empty, you all see Panoso. It's been empty for about 25 years. It's been demolished. There's 3 developers interested in that property to either do a mini mall or an entertainment center. It's yet to be seen. And there's other redevelopments coming up. In about 4 to 5 years, our city will be totally different with more jobs for our residents and more tax ratables.
Mr. Sandville.
You know, we're talking about transparency, and I think the mayor should practice what he preached. That's why today I filed a complaint in the elect report because there's some deficiency there. But going back to the economic development, in 2008 I spoke about developing the waterfront. Garfield did it, Wallington did it, the city of Passaic hasn't done it. We own over 2 miles of the river, and you can't even go to the river. That's one of the things that I'm going to do, develop the waterfront. I've been talking about bringing a movie theater here because we used to have 4. We don't have that anymore. And it shouldn't take 4 years to have economic development. It should have happened like 4 years ago.
Thank you, Mr. Dye.
I don't want to sound redundant, but if you take a look at this side of Passaic on Paulson Ave, and you go down Dayton Avenue, Jefferson Street, Madison, Henry Street, you see a lot of dilapidated vacant land, vacant property. And if you go across Paulson Avenue up in Passaic Park, you don't see the same thing. And so the things that I would definitely change is, 1, I would definitely concentrate on breaking Gary Shear's monopoly on all these boards in the city of Passaic. This city is not, it can't possibly be run with adversity if you got one man controlling all the boards. It can't be done. You got one man making a decision for every board in this city, zoning, planning, redevelopment. It got to change. The redevelopment, I don't even know why they have a redevelopment board. Long as he been there, long as Sammy been there, what redevelopment is taking place in this city? Thank you.
Okay, this is for all 3 candidates. Passaic has many socioeconomic problems. What one problem would you like to fix if elected? We'll start with Mr. Sandville.
You know, and reading some of the things that the incumbent is putting out, we have a gun problem in the city of Passaic. Serious problems. School number 11 has become a recruiting center. We've seen all the video on YouTube, we've seen everything. But I can tell you the experience that I have. When I was in New York, at 2:30 I got out of school, I used to go to a drop-in center. We have in the city of Passaic 5,000 senior citizens that I would like to recruit them to be my mentor and to be the person that's going to help us with the drop-in center. So between 2:30 and 6:30, the children in Passaic have a place to go. The way we're going to eliminate the gangs it's not by putting them in jail. It's to rescue them, to show them a better way that can be done. Because you know, in this city, 100 people, even though the census or something else, we need more school, we need more social services, we need more police officers, we need more firefighter, and you know, we don't have a program here for alcohol and drug programs that I know about it. The domestic violence unit, we don't know anything about it. So when I look at the social program, the city of Passaic needs social program, and that's one of the things, the first thing I'm going to be tackling when I get elected in May 14 this year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dye, would you like me to read the question again for you?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Passaic has many social economic problems. What one problem would you like to fix if elected?
Number one, I'd like to reinstitute a gang unit in the police department. I would like to see our seniors more extensive programs in the city. And number one, more recreation program for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor?
There's a few social program problems in our city. Let me just say that one of the most important ones is our youth. Let me just say that when I took office, one of the main things that I was organizing with our superintendent was a unified after-school program for all the schools. Right now, only certain schools have after-school programs, and of those few schools have even fewer because of our governor cut the NJ After 3 program. We can sit here and talk about gun control and violence and gangs, but if we not give an alternative to our children, give them more after-school programs and more recreation, just like I have done. I have created more after-school, more recreation programs. There's about 5,000 more new kids in our recreation programs that are potential doctors, potential teachers, and potential people that will be out of our streets. Let me just say, our city is not perfect. We are crowded, just like any urban schools, urban municipalities, where our schools are suffering. But let me tell you, we are fighting hard to get more schools to our system. But the governor said there's no more money. Our superintendent is here. He can testify to that. How many times he went to Trenton to vouch to get new schools, and they're still, and those lots are still empty. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is Mr. Sandville. Mr. Sandville, what statistics did you refer to determine that School 11 is a recruiting site for guns?
Well, if you want, I can show you some of the videos that I have in YouTube. And just right there at night, around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you're going to see 40, 50 kids. That's the statistic that I have. And I can tell you, I remember when I came to Passaic, we used to have a job program. And the job program that we have in the city of Passaic, very slim. And what programs do we have for this summer for our kids? Only few chosen kids going to have jobs and going to have those programs. Because when you look at it, how many children do we have?
Mr. Dye, this question is for you. Can you please tell me, have you ever worked on a budget before? And if you so have, how large was the budget?
I worked on my own budget, my personal budget. As far as the city budget, I was never elected to no office, or I never was part of any job that I had to deal with a budget.
Thank you.
Dr. Blanco, if you get reelected, what do your plans and vision for the future of the school children and our environment?
Well, I was a member of the Board of Education for about 5 years, so I know exactly what goes in our school programs. Let me just say that one of the things that was always shocking to me was that whenever there was a cut in our budget, the first thing that went were recreation. The first thing that went was after-school programs and our arts. And as you know, many of our kids, some don't like to play sports, they like to go into arts. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now, is increasing our art department in recreation, inviting artists from all over the world to make sure that they have clinics for our children to paint and create things. We have new programs coming up, like lacrosse, where our children can practice and become better. A very important game because it leads to scholarships, just like baseball, just like basketball. Because one of the problems that we have in the city of Passaic is that we need jobs. And many of us have minimum wage jobs that we cannot provide our children with a college account like many parents do in other cities. So we have to prepare them, we have to nourish them, and we have to give them the opportunities so they can succeed.
This question is for Mr. Sandville and Mayor Blanco. What have you done in the past 4 years to benefit the city of Passaic, either as a mayor or as a private citizen?
I think I answered that question in my statement, but let me answer it again. I pay $55,000 in taxes. They go to the coffers of the city. I employ 13 people in the city of Passaic. And I do a lot of charity, believe it or not. For instance, I run a food basket that I feed 117 people every month. And that's going to be expanded because our city, there are a lot of people that are going hungry in the city of Passaic.
Yes, Mayor.
Well, as mayor of this great city, I inherited a mess, and I also faced one of the toughest economic challenges since 1926, just like President Obama did. But guess what? I had to do the tough decisions. One of the first things.
Excuse me, please.
One of the first things I did as mayor was cure the bleeding of the city. When you have a patient that comes into the ER involving a crash, and the patient has a broken foot, broken leg, but he has the steering wheel right straight in his lung, what do? You have to remove it to make sure the patient breathes. You don't care about the broken leg. And that's what I did. I did the tough decisions, fixing our budget, making our city more transparent, so people can come here and invest and become proud of living in our city. Then we can work on the other stuff. And that's what I did. I rehab all our parks.
Okay, thank you.
Why did I do that? Because our kids are not second-class citizens. They deserve better. Because when you play in a good field, when you wear a nice suit, when you take the time to sharpen your shoes, to clean them, you get proud of it. And that's what I'm doing with the city of Passaic. Little by little, we're going to get our city shine, and we're going to make it the best city in the state of New Jersey.
Excuse me. I don't get to answer that question. I think I've done some things to improve this community too.
Can I just have 1 second, please? Thank you. I understand that everybody out there feels very strongly for their own particular candidate. We're going to ask that you please hold comments to yourself and hold applause until the candidates are finished speaking, so everybody has a chance to hear what they have to say. Thank you.
Excuse me, I can, thank you. Because I do think I've done something to improve this community too. In running this North Jersey Local Residents Workforce, which is a job training placement program, even Davey Martinez over there from the UPO can attest to this. Before Home Depot came here, we negotiated with headquarters in Atlanta that they put a trailer here 2 weeks, actually it was 3 weeks prior to Home Depot ever opening. And what I negotiated was them to put the trailer here to give Passaic residents the first opportunity to be employed at that store. Right. The same thing I did with Kmart, when Kmart came here. Now, I think it's important, and I have to be, I'm a big advocate for jobs for our local residents. That's why I started the program. But I do have to say, Mayor Blanco said he improved the parks. And I remember going to the Board of Education, pleading with them for years when they had the school construction, when they was building on these schools, to hire from this city, hire our local residents. So these new parks that just got done lately, not one of our residents, particularly no blacks, was working on them sites.
There's no use. Mr. Dye, I have a question for you. What makes you a good candidate for mayor? Why should we vote for you?
Because I think I'm a fair candidate, and I'm not for just no one race, even though one would like to think that because I speak pro-black because of the condition that the black community is in this city. I believe that I would be a fair mayor. One thing for sure, it's not about no racial situation, because I supported Bob Hare, I supported Mayor LaParry, I supported Sammy Rivera, and I supported Alex Blanco. So I think that I would be fair in dealing with this whole community. Thank you.
For Mr. Sandville. Mr. Sandville, if you were elected on May 14th, what would you do for in your first 90 days?
First thing we're going to do is to have a chief of police and a chief of the fire departments. We need to bring the morale back to both departments. We need to make sure that the police officers and the firefighter have the proper trainings. We need to reach out to all the clergy and to every citizen here to be part of the administration, so we can have the division that we have. The only few chosen people have reached out to the mayor because he's out for lunch. He's not here. We need a full-time mayor for a full-time job.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Excuse me, please. If you want to continue with the question, you're going to have to keep, please. We asked you, please, keep your comments, because otherwise we're just going to stop. We can't be here all night. You know, they were nice enough to give us the school, but that doesn't mean to 12 o'clock tonight. So please, I'm happy that you're glad with your candidate, but please be respectful to everyone. Thank you. These questions are for all candidates. What are your 3 priorities? Why and how will you address them? Who would like to take the question first? Okay, Mr. Dye.
My 3 priorities is, like I said, 1, we must break up Gary Sher's monopoly. That's 1.
Doesn't stop.
2, again, is there some kind of way bringing redevelopment into this city so we can lower these residents' taxes in this community? And 3, what definitely is a priority, as I said before, to find jobs for our local residents.
One of my biggest priorities is redevelopment in the city, as I mentioned before. The city has no other source of income. Our budget is $82 million. 12 of those come from the state, 7 from other fees, and about 58 million come from taxes. So there's no magic wand here, no magic hidden door that we can get money from. The only way we can get money from is either cutting down government, which I already have done. Our operating budget is $1 million less than last year, or lay off people, which we are working on bare bones right now, even though we're not sacrificing most of our services. And the other way is selling properties, which there's no properties to sell because everything was sold on the past administration. So we need tax ratables in this city. And that's one of my priorities and what I'm going to concentrate in the next 4 years. The other thing is continue on recreation in our parks. All our parks are being renovated. And the next step is creating the park rangers to make sure that those parks are taken care of. Increase recreation with more programs, so there's more kids out of our streets and keeping them occupied. And another priority is public safety. According to our state police, the FBI crime index has gone down 9%, 8% last year. However, we've been working diligently with the police department. I have restructured the police department. In the past, we had a chief, we had 3 deputy chiefs and 9 captains. Right now, we have a chief officer, we have 1 deputy and 2 captains. So that means there's more police on the road. And also, there's a better chain of command than it wasn't in the past. And I am glad that the PVA endorsed me as their candidate for the mayor elections.
Thank you. Mr. Sandville.
I don't know if the incumbent and myself live in a different city, but we used to have 190 police officers, and the force now is 130. We got 9 in the academy, but it's 9 go out to the back door in retirement. And crime is down. I want you to tell that to some of the parents that the child was killed or the child was stabbed in the school. But I can tell you one thing. The first 90 days, we're going to take care of business. We're going to make sure we have a chief of police and a chief of the fire departments. We need to bring a cross-representation of every citizen here. We need to have more African American in the administration. We need to have more women in the administration as the directors, because they are the representative. For the children, we need to have more programs for them. For instance, my children, 3 of them play lacrosse. We have to go to Clifton. Swimming, we have to go to Clifton. So it's like we pay taxes here, but we have our life in somebody else's town. So what is going on? I don't see the progress. I wonder if he's talking about the same city. My gosh.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Blanco, this question is for you. How are you planning to make your city more energy independent, as in installing and maintaining parks, sidewalks, and implementing the city charters? The second part of this question, everyone is facing budget cuts. How do you think these cutbacks should be handled?
Well, let me just say that since I took office, my business administrator, Ricardo Fernandez, we've been searching for energy efficient programs. We start interviewing solar panel companies. Unfortunately, they're not feasible for our city. There's certain measurements that those panels can produce energy, and they're placed on the roofs of different buildings owned by the city. Calculations were made, and they're not feasible. And other options we had was wind. Where are we going to put wind in the city of Passaic? We tried 8th Street, but it was just not feasible as well. Other things that we're trying to do is recycling. We order the special garbage cans that you've probably seen in Garfield and in other towns. They're in the process. They should be up and running in a few months. We had a couple of glitches, but they should be common. Budget cuts, they're unpredictable if they come from the state. We just cannot control that. Others is increases in our either medical expenses. Let me just say that 75% of our budget goes into salaries. We got salaries, we got pension, and we got the medical coverage. Medical coverage goes up every year. Might go up $1 million, it might go up $2 million. So that we cannot control as well. What we can do is revisit contracts, just like we have done in the past 4 years, when we save money on garbage pickup, on recycling, on lawyers, and different other contracts. Thank you.
Mayor Blanco, with the summer fast approaching, what can be done to get police to respond to loud music? Hey, somebody asked a question. What do you want me? I'm just reading it.
Well, summer is tricky, not just for loud music, but many other things. Let me just say that each call that comes to the police department is prioritized. If there's a car accident, if there's a stabbing or shooting, it's more important than loud music. And that's what...
Yes, I agree. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
So as much as I want to push the police department to go after loud music, I first have to encourage them to see the calls that come in through the computer system because they're prioritized.
Thank you. All right, we need the next one.
Mr. Sandville, if you were to become the mayor, what were some of the things you plan to do that our current mayor has not done, and how do you plan to do them?
Wow. Well, I think it's something going on my mic. Thank you, Miguel. Hello? Yeah, okay. So, some of the thing is, we have to start from scratch. He hasn't done a thing. Sometimes, the quality of life, the noise, and the thing you call a police officer, and he's saying that, well, we're busy doing this and doing that. Let's hire more police officers. He's talking about the budget, how the budget's going to, and I can tell you, we laid off police officers, firefighters, city hall is skeletons, but the city council and the mayor didn't take a pay cut.
Mr. Dye, what other office have you run for in the past, and did you win?
Do I really need to answer that? Do I really need to answer that?
You don't.
Well, I ran for city council 4 times in the city of Passaic, came in fourth, first, third, second, and third on the third one, and second on the last one. On the first one, I forgot. But second once, third once, and fourth twice. Ran for the Board of Education once, and I never came in last. Okay, so I'm running for mayor now, and I'm hoping to win.
All of them? This question is for all the candidates. How do you plan to maintain the cleanliness of the city streets? Can we start with, we'll start with you, Mr. Dye, and we'll work our way down.
I think there needs to be a prioritized in terms of cleaning, snow removal, and all types of debris when it comes to the city of Passaic. And it just seems like Passaic Park gets a priority. And I think that our side of the city is more dirtier, and it needs to be more prioritized. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sandville? Yeah, let him go. Then you'll get it, Mayor.
You know, some of the things that I'm campaigning on is we need to have more clean city and safer street. We need to do a campaign. We need to educate our people. Throwing garbage in the street. We need to have more garbage trash in the corners, in every corner in the city of Passaic. And the way we're going to do that is we own a TV station, Channel 78. Maybe that be a vehicle to start teaching people where to put the garbage. If they don't have a place where to put the garbage, it's not going to happen. When you look at some of the other cities, that's the way they have it. They have garbage truck in every corner, and they pick it up often. In the city of Passaic, you know, they cut so many services that we don't have enough people to do this. And that's one thing we need to do. We need to bring, you know, it's like we pay the same amount of taxes or more for less services. Something is wrong with this picture. So we instead have to cut what do we need to cut. You know, some of the directors, the mayor's salary, the city council, that's some of the things that we need to look at. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's just say a couple of realities. Probably a couple of things that are overlooked concerning garbage in the city. I don't know if you remember back then when cars were towed for the streets to be clean, right? That was like 4 years ago. Well, I remember because I was the one that eliminated that.
Okay, thank you.
Now, that is nice, and I'm telling you, decisions have to be made. I sit in that chair, and it's easy for candidates to pinpoint and say, I'm going to hire this, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
But tough decisions have to be made. Now, what is the reaction?
Okay.
What is the reaction of cars not being towed? As you know, you get a ticket, the sweeper passes, the garbage stays between the sidewalk and the car. When the car leaves, it leaves a bit of garbage there. The wind comes in and blows. Multiply that times 100 around our city. Budget cuts. At one point, we had 90 DPW employees. Right now, we have 50. It would be nice. I would love to have 100, but I will have 100 and raise your taxes 8%. So I have to make the tough decisions. Garbage cans. Yes, we need more garbage cans in the city, but a couple of things happen. Some business owners and some residential owners who come down and put their garbage in their garbage cans. So a few were removed, and let me just tell you, more garbage cans doesn't mean a cleaner city. I don't know about you guys, but I've been to Canada and I don't see any garbage cans down there. So it's a combination of many things. Education is one of the most important things. I see people walking down the streets eating some ice cream, a pie, and they throw their garbage in the streets. Even kids. Yes. I remember in the Dominican Republic when I used to go out for an ice cream with my mother, and I finished, and I would throw the paper on the streets. My mother would slap me. My mother would say, "Pick that up and put it in your pocket, son. You throw it out when you get home."
Let him finish talking, please. Yes, please. Okay, please.
You turn my mic off?
No.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just said, please calm down.
I keep looking back because I'm wondering, is it an applause button here or is it a light? Because I wished I'd have brought the audience that you have here. And you may sit in the seat, but Gary Shea makes the decisions.
Okay, thank you. Did everybody answer the question? Yeah. Okay, please, thank you. Please, please, please. Please, can we ask another question? Please calm down. Thank you. Mr. Sandville, how have you been active in the community of Passaic, and why should we vote for you?
We need a clean start. I've been very active in the community. As I mentioned before, I pay $55,000 in taxes.
Okay. Please keep your comments. Please let the gentleman finish talking.
If anybody in the audience want to pay for me, you're welcome to do that. I don't have any problem.
Okay, please.
But I can tell you, so many people I touch every day, and I have the food program once a month doing that. Because, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of hungry people going here. I didn't go to Canada to see how the garbage situation was.
I went to Canada.
I went around the state. And I said before, we need education. My mother didn't have to slap me. I knew better.
Okay, thank you.
And I can tell you, education is the key to everything. It's going to open the opportunity to every human being in the city of Passaic.
Thank you.
Mayor Blanco, you're asking for 4 more years. What have you done in the past that makes you feel you deserve 4 more years?
Well, candidates here are saying that things needs to be start from the scratch. Guess what? I already started from the scratch. I already have a plan in motion. I already did the pushing, control the friction, and the car is going to be moving faster in the next 4 years. The more redevelopment, our budget is stable, which means we're going to have more control into whether either hire more cops, more firefighters, more DPW personnel. And let me just say that things are not changed overnight. If you elect a new mayor, you heard many of the candidates here say that they have to start from the scratch. That scratch means 3 years that Passaic is going to be in the dumps again.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Dye.
I didn't, for the record, I didn't say that. I didn't say start from scratch.
Mr.
For the
Dye,
record.
what do you think is the most important issue facing the city of Passaic today?
The most important issue is to lower these people's taxes. And I don't know if the comment was made for me to start from scratch. You didn't start from scratch when Gary Shea gave you his votes.
Excuse me, please. Please, can you keep it down? Thank you. Please. Oh my God, my throat is killing me. This is for all the candidates. There have been a lot of progress with development in Passaic. What will you do if elected? What are your plans for the continuing development for the city of Passaic. So we'll start with Mr. Sandville.
Can you repeat the question,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry, dear. Okay. There has been a lot of progress with development in Passaic. What will you do if elected? What are your plans for the continued development for the city of Passaic? Sorry.
Well, one of the questions that I have here is, are you better off now than 4.5 years ago? Trust me, I know better off now than 4.5 years ago and pay more taxes. But I can tell you,
Okay, please.
like I said, guys, anybody willing to pay my taxes, you're welcome. You know, as I mentioned before, we need to have the unity of the community. Everybody needs to participate. Everybody has a voice and has a vote. And that's one of the things that our city is lacking. And that's the first thing I'm going to reach out across the aisle to everybody. Thank you.
Again, I don't want to sound redundant, but I think in terms of redevelopment, it's very important. Those people that sit on that redevelopment board is taking, and I don't want to, like I said, this is the truth. Those people that sit on that redevelopment board is taking directions from Gary Shear. Why hasn't this community been redeveloped as of yet? You need?
Okay. Excuse me. Please,
No,
let
all right.
him talk. Let him talk, please.
It's fine, I can handle it.
Let him talk.
You need to get rid of the commissioners that's on the redevelopment board and put new people there. Thank you.
Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, I already started the redevelopment of the city of Passaic. I already did the time. I already did 2 years of meeting with investors that didn't want to take part in the city of Passaic. As you can see, Panaso's been demolished. Since when that building's been up? 25 years they're empty, doing nothing. So it's being demolished. So an entertainment center or a mini mall is going to come there. Big Apple West, Passaic Street, Penrose. I don't know if that name sounds a bite. Penrose is responsible for developing Jersey City and Hoboken. And you can check about the city of Passaic. It's a city with vibe. And I'm quoting that. You can search it.
Demolition and redevelop.
Excuse me. Hey, stop.
They're gonna.
Please. Let's stop.
Demolition and redevelop.
Please let him talk. Let everyone talk.
Demolition and redevelopment.
Excuse me. I said let everyone talk. And I'm saying it again. Please keep him. All right, please.
That site.
Please let him talk. Let him talk.
That site was already designed a developer, which is Penrose. They're in the process of securing $200 million to invest in the city of Passaic. In front.
This off, don't make no
Excuse me.
demolition.
I said, excuse me. Please. Stop, please. Now I'm going to say this again. Let the person finish talking. Nobody stopped anyone from talking. Now that's it. You have a problem. You talk after the program. Let the person finish talking. Be enough respect for that. Thank you.
The building in front, many of you knows it as the old school number 8, the Board of Ed building, which Angel LaBoy used to go there, right, Angel? He's telling me.
Excuse me, please. Can you just have manners?
He's telling me that back then he used to go home and have lunch.
Yeah.
They didn't have lunch in the cafeteria, right? That building there is going to be demolished, and a mini mall's coming there, providing more jobs and more ratables to our city. So as you can see, these properties are going to be developed in the next 4 years. And let me just say, I wish we were a Patterson or a Newark, where they have a lot of empty buildings owned by the city. We don't have no properties owned by the city. Let me tell you what Mayor Booker did. Mayor Booker went to Secaucus, to Passaic, and said, listen, move your factory to Newark, and I'll give you a building, and I'll give you 5 years without taxes. And guess what they did? They left. Now it's an empty shell. I wish you had empty buildings like that here. But guess what? All those buildings are privately owned. So starting from scratch means you have to sit down with those owners, start negotiating, or doing eminent domain, which is going to take about 2 years in court. Thank you.
Okay, please. Has everybody talked?
Okay, thank you. We're going to take the closing views of our candidates now. Mr. Sandville, you have something to say?
And please
Can I
let
ask a
everyone
question?
talk
Yes, sir.
without.
Can I ask a question so we follow the flow with what's going on?
No, we're going to do the closing. Excuse me. Thank you. Mr. Dye, would you start with your closing statement first, please?
No, that's just me.
My name is Jeffrey Dunn. Like I said before, I've been in this community, and I've been fighting for this community since I was 17 years old in this community. And these are the things that I would like to change in this community, and I would like to see implemented. I would like to see lower property taxes for our residents. I would like to really see and set up a more competent redevelopment agency. I would like to reinstall the gang unit in the police department, create more beneficial programs for our seniors, stop the demolition conversation of Aspen Place projects, create an extension on Salvation Army for our homeless, or somewhere in the city for our homeless. Reduce the fees for handicap parking and for our seniors, and to have their designated parking for handicapped people in front of their house. And I would truly offset that by putting parking meters up in Passaic Park. To recreate a job training and placement program. And number one, the last thing, is the same thing that I had asked Alex Blanco to do if he became elected. I would truly like to see this community come to a healing process where it's not, we're hiring all Latinos, because that's what's taking place here in the city right now. I would like to see more African Americans on the police department, more African Americans on the EMT, more African Americans on the fire department, more African Americans on all of these boards that's controlled by Gary Shea. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dye. Mr. Sandville, please.
You know, the mayor was talking about redevelopment. What happened to 663? He took money from UEC money to buy the building. They haven't paid their taxes from 2011, 2012. He signed an order.
Please, let
What
the
he's
gentleman
given them,
talk.
he's given them a tax cut of $30,000 and make an installment payments all the way to 2016. And they don't have to pay interest. And so everybody knows our taxes is due. The first, we have a grace to the 10th. So on the 11th, if I don't pay by 11, I'm paying taxes. Here's the document that he signed. So development like that, I don't want it. Regarding the projects, the 550 units he wants to build, he hasn't talked about school, he hasn't talked about police officer, he hasn't talked about firefighters, and where you're going to place those families that live in Spear Village. They haven't been asked on consult. Some of the things they say, we're getting Section 8 vouchers. Hey, guess what? Those vouchers have been cut by the federal government. So, you know, it's like, Do I live in the same city that he's talking about? No. Let's have a reality. He was talking about reality. That's a reality. But I can tell you, if I need to sit down with those people that own those buildings and negotiate with them, I'm willing to put the time because I will be a full-time mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayor Blanco?
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming down and see for yourself. Because Tuesday, May 14th, is an important day in the city of Passaic, in which you will decide the future of our city. I've been your mayor for 4 years, and I inherited many mess, including 663. It wasn't me that made that deal. The UEC prior me made that deal. I came and salvaged it. Unfortunately, I took office in the worst economic time since 1926. And I believe my challengers, they're developers and community activists, they know how job and money, they don't run in the streets like they used to. So yes, we have to accommodate developers. Not only developers, but business owners that are struggling to survive, and we have accommodated them as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I have accomplished things. I have stopped the bleeding in our budget. I have created more recreation for our children. I have rehabbed our parks, and I have started a redevelopment plan for the city of Passaic. And you heard it here. My challengers wants to start from scratch. That means 3 years reorganizing and throwing things out while we, the taxpayers, suffer. So you made the choice May 14th. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.